In today's video, I'll show you how to automatically deploy your n8n workflows just by dropping JSON files into a Google Drive folder. If you manage multiple n8n environments or just want a super simple way to roll out updates, this template will save you a ton of time. This workflow is designed for n8n users who want a reliable, scalable way to manage workflow deployments. It's perfect if you manage multiple n8n instances or want a quick drop-in method to deploy or update workflows. So if you go to the link provided, you can get this template for free. You just click on use for free, and then there's a couple of different options. You can import directly into your instance, or you can copy the template to a clipboard. So we'll go with the import template. And so first up, we have to configure the connections. So here we'll go with create a new credential. So there are some documents that you can read. Looks like there's an issue there, so we'll just ignore that. So what you need to do is go to the Google Cloud Console. So console.cloud.google.com is the address. Up the top here, we'll click on the new project. I'm going to call this walkthrough. Okay, once it's finished creating, we select it. The first up, we need to add an API to get access to the Google Drive. So we just click on Enable API and Services. We'll do a search for Google Drive. We want the Google Drive API. Click on the Google Drive API and then Enable. Just wait for that to finish enabling. Okay, so it's enabled now. What we'll then go to is the credentials. We need to create a iOS 2 client ID. So up the top here, click on iOS client ID. Then you get to create an iOS client ID. You must first configure your consent screen. So we click on that, and then we go to branding. We go get started. We'll give the app a name, demo. We've got to put an email address in. So click next. Let's make it external. Use the same email. Click next. We agree, of course. Great. Okay. Next we go to create an iOS client. The application type will be a web application. Call this demo app. We need to add an authorized redirect URL. So we go back to n8n. We'll copy this. We'll paste that in there. Then we click on create. Okay. We now got the client ID and client secret. So we copy the client ID. We then also come back and get the client secret. We then can now sign in with Google. Select the Google account you would need. And then click on allow. And there you go. Connection is done. I'm going to rename this to video demo. Let's go save. Okay, we can now close this, and then we click on continue. Okay, and here we go. Right, first off, we start with a Google Drive trigger. So what we need to do is create a couple of folders. So if you go to your Google Drive, I've already got a top level folder created. So I'm going to create it called to deploy demo. And then while we're here, we'll also need another one later. So I'm going to create it now, to deploy processed. Okay, so we'll go back to n8n. What we're going to look for is that new folder we just created. So to deploy demo, and we can save that. We then need to set up the n8n URL. So here we go. Just enter in your n8n instance. So for me, it is this. Write that in. The n8n instance tag I will come back to. Okay, next we just double check. There's not much there to do, which is good. It's just going to download the JSON file. We then extract the data from that JSON file so we can process it in the next step. So here we are cleaning the JSON file. As you can see, this is the top level of what a JSON file can look like. When you actually creating JSON files using this workflow, there's only certain keys we need. We can drag it over a little bit. So what we need is we need the name, the nodes, the connections, and then the settings. Now for the settings, we actually process them because we only need the execution order and if there's a time zone configured. So in this case I've only got the execution order. Any other settings that are in there causes the JSON file to break on the importing. So we're just doing a bit of cleaning up there. Okay, next we are actually going to start creating the n8n workflow. This time though we need to configure the API for n8n. So if we go back to the canvas, save our file, and then what we want to do is go to settings, and under settings you've got the n8n API, and then you can create an API. So I'm going to go demo video. On the version I have, I can't change the scopes, so if you on a different version you may be able to do that. Click on save. We then click to copy the API. We then go back to the workflow. Then we go to where, zoom in again, this create n8n workflow. We can actually go and create a new credential, and then all we have to do is paste the API key in there and put in your address. Hopefully I got that right. Click on save. Okay, that's how you add your API. So make sure you've got the API selected. Next up we actually set the workflow tag. So again, first off we need to make sure we have the right n8n API account, which we do now. And to get your workflows IDs for the tags, what we need to do is go actually quickly jump up to get workflow tags. First up we need to fix the domain name again. Okay, so for me that's mine. We can then execute that step, and then we click on here, make sure you got the right credential for your API, and we execute that. And as you can see, drag this over so you can see better, is these are all the tags that we have available. So what I created a tag called import. Here we go. So I use one called import. So what we want is to grab that ID there. We'll go back to the workflow underneath. Actually go back to the second node, and then here we paste the instance tag, and we'll come back to that shortly. Alright, so we've set the workflow tag. Then finally, once it's all processed correctly, we actually need to move the file out of the folder. So what we need to do is select the one that we created before, which was Boy processed. Okay, and then finally we've got in this create n8n workflow, I've actually added a continue on error node. I was finding that every now and then there'd be a workflow that doesn't work. So I just like to capture the name of that workflow and why it failed. Okay, so we're ready to give this a test. So click save. First up, we need to drag a file into this folder. So I'm just going to drag this one. Okay, that's there. We'll go back to the n8n. And we will execute the workflow. Okay, it's running. And there, done. Successfully run. So what we'll do is we'll check. We'll refresh that. It's gone. Just what we wanted. It's in the process folder. If we then go to the n8n instance, it's the top one here. There we go. Nicely inserted with the name and looking good. Alright, so what we'll do now is go back to the workflow. We'll make it active. And then we'll do another test. And this time we'll do everything else. So we'll drag that in. Take a short minute. Okay, they're there. Now we wait. So this trigger runs or checks it every minute. So it won't be too long. While we wait for that, I'll just show you. Also has the tag import. Go back to this. Let's click on executions. Alrighty, so it's running now. Okay, it successfully run. Took 23 seconds. We go back to overview. We now see we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 workflows imported, all with their names and all with the import tag. So if you have any questions, let me know. Have a great day.